Starfire and Steel. Chapter 3. Close Quarters. The second collapse came without warning. One moment, Caleb was fiddling with the emergency door controls, trying to find a way out. The next, the ceiling groaned and cracked, and half the wall caved in with a deafening roar. "Move!" Caleb shouted, shoving Serexa hard out of the way as a beam crashed down where she'd been standing. Dust filled the air, choking and blinding. Caleb coughed, waving his hand, struggling to see. A low sound of pain cut through the settling debris. "Serexa?" he barked. No answer. He stumbled forward, tripping over broken concrete, and found her half buried under a pile of rubble. Her armor was scorched. A long gash bled bright silver along her side. Without thinking, Caleb dropped to his knees, hauling broken stone off her body. "Damn it, stay with me," he muttered. Serexa's eyes fluttered open, hazy with pain. For the first time, she looked vulnerable. Not the fierce, untouchable warlord, but something raw and real underneath. "You are persistent," she rasped. "Yeah, well," Caleb said, forcing a grin he didn't feel. "I'm stubborn that way." He looped an arm around her back carefully, trying not to jostle her wound too much. She flinched but didn't push him away. Her body was warm, too warm, almost feverish against his. "You're hurt bad," he said. Serexa shook her head, grimacing. "The wound is shallow. I heal faster than your kind." "Good," Caleb muttered. "Means I don't have to carry your stubborn ass out of here." Still, he didn't let go. She was breathing hard, her head resting against his shoulder now. Her hair brushed his jaw, soft despite the grime and blood. It would have been so easy to let himself feel too much right then, to forget the war, to forget who she was. Instead, Caleb forced himself to focus. He pressed his forehead briefly against hers, just for a second, as he caught his breath. Neither of them moved. The storm still howled above them, the warehouse creaking dangerously around them. But in that fragile pocket of silence, something shifted between them. Not trust, not yet, but something close, to forget the war, to forget who she was. Instead, Caleb forced himself to focus. With great effort, they managed to limp deeper into the underground tunnels. The air grew cooler, damper, the rumble of the storm growing more distant. They found another small chamber, old maintenance storage, and barricaded themselves inside. Caleb tore strips from his ruined jacket, improvising a bandage for Serexa's side. She didn't flinch as he worked, though he felt the tremble in her muscles under his hands. At one point, their eyes met. Close, too close. Her gaze was fierce but not cold. There was a question there, and a challenge. Caleb's hand stilled against her ribs. He could feel the heat of her skin, the rapid beat of her pulse. He wondered if she could feel his, hammering just as hard. He swallowed thickly and forced himself to finish wrapping the bandage. "There," he said gruffly. "Not perfect, but it'll hold." Serexa's fingers brushed his hand, intentionally, as she pulled the makeshift wrap tighter. "You are not like other humans," she said, voice low. Caleb snorted. "I'll take that as a compliment." "It was not meant as one," she said, but there was a faint tilt to her mouth, almost a smirk. He shook his head, chuckling under his breath. They sat in silence after that, side by side against the wall, their shoulders brushing when either of them shifted. It should have been unbearable. Instead, Caleb found himself almost reluctant to move away. Maybe he was losing his mind, or maybe he'd already lost it the moment he decided she was more than just his enemy. Serexa slept, her head tilted back against the cold wall. Caleb stayed awake, rifle across his lap, watching the door, but his eyes kept drifting back to her. She looked peaceful in sleep, younger, almost fragile, despite the power he knew coiled beneath her skin. Caleb leaned his head back with a quiet sigh. Whatever this was between them, this fragile, dangerous thing, it was only going to get harder to ignore. And when it finally broke, he wasn't sure either of them would survive it. Would you like me to keep going with Chapter 4 next? This chapter could get even more intense. Maybe something forces them into even closer contact, like hiding together in a tight space or sharing body heat during a cold night. Lots of opportunities for that slow burn tension to simmer. Hours later,